Is it gonna connect? The screen's dark. YouTube. Oh my goodness. YouTube. Right when I stop believing in you, you do it. You don't fail me. Oh my. Alright, apparently we got some good stuff here today. Let's roll our 30-second. I don't see them being the ones out front. But, alright. Wrong one. It's been a while since I had to hit these buttons. I've only been doing the podcast. So, let's take a look quick. We've got... And that's not it. There we go. Got a bit of a jam up. A little bit of build up on a PlayStation 4. It's already partway torn down. I do have two of these here. I don't think they're the same problem, but we will check that out when we get to it. I'm looking for two screws individually. They went with those ones. Okay. So this, all I'm doing here is cleaning the fan out. I'm going to go ahead and put a few of these dome screws back in to the spot where they go. I don't think we need to pull them out in order to tear this down. I don't do these very often. However, sometimes you got to do something different. Alright, and I was right. We can still lift that eventually without having those out. Let's get to this side. Are those Torx? They are. Best advice when tearing one of these apart. This is one of the newer models. I don't know if it has the stickers on it. No, they're on the case. Let me find it if it's here. Am I crazy? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's still on here. My mistake. PlayStation 4 CUH 2015A. Now I did do a 2015B not long ago. That was the one, I believe. I don't know if I did that on stream or not, where we tore it down and did the HDMI chip. Did we do that on stream? I'm not sure. You lose track of what you do enough of it. Okay, Wi-Fi antenna, get out of the way. And I have to say the design of the other one that I did more recently, it came apart a lot better than this one. Of course, and there's the wire we wanted. Oh. Alright, so we may be leaving that if that doesn't want to come out. Alright, fair enough, it's out. As far as I know, there's no fans in the power supply for these. Like I said, I did a 2015B. The power supplies are not interchangeable between them. There are other videos on that, so we don't need to cover that. Really? Are we back to Torx? That's the one. We don't want to lose that. That goes up front. We're going to give everything a good brush off. The area where any air comes in or out. Oh, we're dealing with machine. Plastic and machine thread. And they're both silver. Well, we'll just take a look at it. There shouldn't be many where they switch them up on us. At least not on this side. The other side, there's enough that I mark it. This console here had accounts left on it that were, like it was bought used, accounts were on it. And they did not clear it. So we took and got that accomplished here this evening. And as I was doing that, I happened to see what was going on with this, so I figured we would clean it out. And that is either what extreme dust or smoking will do. Smoking around your console will do. We're at the inside bottom of the optical drive, I believe. No, or is that the top? That might be the top. Could be mistaken. Let's see what this is here, though. we're going to need something a little more powerful to clean that off. We'll go ahead and get the edges cleaned out there. The heatsink is fairly clean. We're not going to tear it all apart and break the seal. As you can see, I'm going to say that's not dust. I'm going to say that's possibly a lot of smoking around this console. Definitely what it smells like. Alright, it was me. I did that all today in about a half hour. We had a smokers convention in the shop. I'll admit it. Alright, we're going to take and brush all that out right now. It's getting a little late. Although the neighbor's not home currently, there are other neighbors kind of close, and we're not going to blast these fine working people out of bed or off their couches watching their evening television programs with a air compressor. Alright, let's get something a little better suited. We melted a hole in our bottle. We dropped our heat gun, so we tried to patch it with some tape, but that didn't work. So I'm going to take and pour some Windex out onto I don't know. I think alcohol might be the way to go as far as cleaning that up. Let's try alcohol. Yeah, I'm going to say alcohol. At least, unless it's, I think that Windex is watered down, or we might have added something else to it for cleaning, to cut it with water a little to make it not as abrasive of a solvent. Closer to clean. Is this going to do anything for the actual console? Other than clean it up, clean some of the smell out of it, not much. Just let air flow any places where it's blocked up a little around the vents and the edges. Air will flow more freely. But as far as that, that's about all. Just anywhere where it's clogged up. Like we still have the other part of the case there where it's built up around the edges of the fan, and then the vents. Are those vented? No, that's where it connects to the rest of the case to let it vent. So those are areas that we want to get cleaned out as well. As you can see though, cigarettes are tough to get out. We're out of alcohol, we need to fill up. Whenever you go through a bottle, even one that has the clicky spout with the little nozzle, you'll go through less with the clicky one. But when you use bottles like this or some type of alcohol pump or alcohol dispenser, you will go through a lot less. And if you actually buy IPA, you'll go through even less using it this way versus burning through it. Funneled in, bottle filled to where we need it. We'll let that drain and put that away later. Most of this is just heat. Some of it is residue. Possibly you can see the edges where it changes color. It does have some residue built up there. Alright, and let's get the console and see what we can just brush loose from the insides outside. Boy, I don't know. Do we break this apart and have to do a bunch of thermal paste, clean it up, and clean up, and then put new on? And just as an example, let's see what ended up on my bench, and I'm going to try and not sweep any screws up in this pile. There is a lot finer dust that flew further. We did get some junk out of it. Let's flip it over and see. Ooh, what fell? You're really going to make me search for that part. We're not offhand. Let me think about it for a moment. It's where the, oh, what is it? Where the one screw goes through. And it's when you tip it up this way that it falls. Which one was it? No, it can't be that one. There's two screws that go into this, and I don't remember where it goes on this one offhand. We'll figure it out on the rebuild. Right now, Flip this over and, oh, so we have two parts that fell, not just one. Alright, yes, I like the other one much better. To save time, I believe we will look those up. Where do they each go? P1, P2. Or I just keep dumping parts out of it. Which one? Which way do we want to see this happen? Do we take time and clean the inside of this off? We do have some buildup. We have our little ram shields that we can put back on. Or the silicone heat pads for the RAM. Let's give that a good once over. Yeah, we're not going to lift the board out. I just wanted to see what it looked like in here. There's no real buildup around it, so I think we can use our broom, brush off any little of the remaining pieces. Call that pretty good and start reassembling. I do have to look up where two parts go because I was a fool. I trusted you, Sony. Look what you did. Alright, taking a look on the web here quick. That is the one. They have a service manual? Do you offer it for free? Well, let's see. It seems that you have to tear down pretty far to get to either the fan or the motherboard. So we'll go for the fan first. We need to locate the two small parts. That is the same model. So those two wires connect. There, that does not go there. What are you showing me? Nothing. took that off. We're not going to drop the board out yet. And the fan does come out the other way, so they have to go on this side. The heatsink is clean. I'm going to start the reassembly of this nightmare of a project. We actually don't know if we have soda that got in there with tar and nicotine residue. That looks almost like flux build up. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Can you see it? Oh, just on the bottom corner here. Try and cut the glare from it, but it has that. It has a brown stained color to it. That's what flux looks like generally whenever you are doing hot air soldering or soldering like like micro soldering and you have leftover flux, or if you do like a QFN package or something like that and you don't get your board cleaned properly, or don't clean it in general, you will have stuff like that left over that can corrode components. But that could also be soda. And it's orange coming up. Looks kind of like high C, possibly. Did somebody dump high C in this thing? Tell me it isn't so. It's not coming off to the same extent that all that residue from smoking came off. This is actually not coming off brown, it's coming off the color orange. Use this to clean it up a little more. Okay, so that spot's gone. Let's go 4 back together. We need to see that these are getting hit by the pads that connect them. Lift them all up and then put them on this, and when we set this down they will be in the right spots. And okay, we still have volume. Thought it died for a minute there. That's one reason this was so delayed today. I had to charge batteries, not live streaming with wireless. mics in such a long time made it so that the batteries were all extremely dead. Alright, flip and try and get you put in place before stuff starts falling. Three. You're in. Gonna lift up to check that. Oh, guess what? We had two fall off. Two. Take their life. They were done with it. Yeah, we're gonna go back around. I don't want these sticking to me too much, but they don't want to stay. So they will be the two that go there and there. Lift this up and take a look again. No more have fallen. Let's set this down. And start the long process of reassembling. Just for now, I'm going to put a few screws in that go to this side to hold this in place. And we'll flip it over and build this thing back up backwards. I still have to find where those two little pieces go. I'm sure it will become apparent once we fail to put it together. We want one silver metal screw. Yeah, I never found them in the CUH 2015B model, so but they came out of this side. So we will take a look around and see if we can't figure out where exactly they go. We know this goes in that area. That is our whole power supply unit there. One thing to note before you completely start reassembling, check your Wi-Fi wires and that everything is not where it's going to be in a location where it will get pinched. There are some grooves where all this will line up. So we have the one. let's look at this and see what makes sense, what needs held in place, what doesn't. Can't lift that even the slightest bit with that out. Alright, well. One of those has to. It's the wrong side. We're not digging that far in. That is that side. Power supply out. And would you not know it? They don't even show you. What are you telling me? That they're not important? You crazy people? One actually went on the motherboard side on the 2015B. It was an actual nightmare to get it to go on. Or not a nightmare. It went on, and if you didn't put it there, then you had no screw hole. So let's figure out where we don't have screw holes, and then we'll know what we're missing. That was a long screw. The two metal ones go down in there. does, let me look here, let me take a look. The hard drive goes in. Yeah, they're out of their head. There's no possible way it screws into the cage. Let's continue looking. Connector. HP0. Unscrew the one screw there. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. That's the fan. And we're not even going to attempt to play a video and have it taken down because somebody else is. Let's look up replacement parts. It's going to give us a hint. Not really, but if they sell those little parts, I will 100% be amazed. And the housing comes in assembled. So you would probably looking at there's the hard drive kit, yes. There's that bracket. See, 2115 don't make sense. Mine's a 2015. So I'm going to call false on that. Alright, anyhow, let's get back to looking at our mess. This is what front side, impossible for it to go there. I want to look under this because there is an empty socket in the one spot, but I don't think it goes there. Let's go ahead and take this piece back off and work on unplugging this again. We're going to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places have that we have a spot for screws to go into all those places. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where does that one go through? And 6. 5 and 6, I believe. Yes, yes, yes. Aha. Okay. So, for anybody wondering, and I'm going to make there's a post about this online. I'm going to make note of it. Our one mystery piece is going to drop in here on the edge, and it sits on the edge. One way that you can tell, they said about look for markings on your ROM drive. You can see there's like a little mark there. I don't know, is it visible on camera? Zoom this in a little further. Yeah, you can definitely see that little marking there. Okay, and that was that tab sitting down, so this just sits there. Apparently, I don't know what that does. Is it a ground? Who knows? Would it have been essential to the function of the PlayStation 4 Slim CUH 2015A? I don't quite know, but we're not going to take any chances. It's not ours. We try to put it back together how it came apart till we lose all the pieces. And then the other one is going to slot in opposite that. what that will do is give a screw hole for this one spot here, so this location, and this one is just held in by this. Okay, so let's go ahead and start bolting this thing back together. These people might want this back tonight. Never in your life, you're not getting it. Alright, we lined up, we're lined up. You do nothing, that's what. Okay, we're plugged in. Wi-Fi antennas are plugged in. We need to route this one cable. Does that have to hold that while you put this back in? I don't know. Alright, we had a big Torx there, which was this one. Let's put it back together and continue moving on. Also, we had our little metal shield, which falls into place there and there. Those two were Torx as well, one much longer than the other, and I don't remember which one that seems like it goes. And that one actually hit and stood up, so we will tighten each of them down. First try. That almost never happens. That's guaranteed to never ever happen. Alright. We do need to pay attention. We had a few screws that screwed into metal. Was it one? I think just one, possibly two. One goes into metal, which would be this one here where we drop that little tab in. And the rest go into plastic standoffs. It does fit. It's always a little confusing whenever you go to tear something apart and something falls out of it, and you're like, oh boy, where does that go? What could I possibly have done now? I just wanted to clean it. Just wanted to clean it, and it starts falling apart. And I think what we're going to do is pull this little black screw and put in its place. We only have the one. I kind of remember this being black. The 2 times that I put the silver one and felt weird, I'm going to say it was black. And we will go over all these locations very quickly again. And there should be one more right there. So all of the screws that are on this part here, on the, not the shiny silver. The shiny silver is 2 Torx, one longer than the other. The longer one goes here. Shorter one goes here. There's also another longer one in between the two. It goes there. All the ones holding this whole part down are all silver coarse threaded screws, short ones, without a dome top. They'll have a flat top, Phillips. And then you'll have one real fine thread, machine thread that goes in the location where the black metal tab dropped in. Then you're going to have a black screw holding down one part of your Wi-Fi antenna, and then you have 4 other screws that are coarse thread longer that hold the power supply in. That should be this side back together. Is this the top or bottom? This will be the top. So we're going to go ahead and clean out our top before snapping it back. Can we snap it back on yet? I do not know. We'll get to that then. We'll save it. Let's flip this over and work on the gigantic mess that is the bottom. We have a wire to route around. There's the other end of that. Okay, so a few of these cables push in. Get yourself a set of tweezers. If you have bent ones, fine, that will work great too. And let's try and get black in that scene so you'll be able to see it. If you can grab the blue tab or grab it with your fingers, line up your ribbon cable and start pressing in. It should pop in relatively easy. You will have 3 that are like that. The 2 skinny ones on either end, and then the next thinnest one or second widest one. Now you could wait on putting some of these in because you'll probably end up having to pull them to put screws in if you took any of these out, which I think I put them all back in except for, I can't see that, except for the one. Which I will put in now. The screws in these locations that I'll show you are all Phillips dome topped. And that's what the little dome symbol is. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last ribbon cable has a little flip up part to it, like a little latch. Once you get it in there, be careful putting it in. You don't want to catch any of the pins and bend them. And then you can just latch it down. Good to go. We also need to route this Wi-Fi wire. It does come down across here, snaps in, across, does a little loop, gets clipped in, winds its way up front to rest at home right there. You also have this piece. It looks like a speaker. I'm going to say that's exactly what it is. You didn't see any of that. Sorry. You forget when you're working in Zoom. That's why I don't like zooming if I don't have to. So your Wi-Fi cable will, don't forget to check the end and plug it in. It goes under this metal tab. Let's turn it so we don't have to lean through the camera to get to it. Alright, so when clipped in place, it'll go around under the metal tab here, follows the tape. Down, there's little spots where you can clip the wire in as it feeds through, and it will come to rest up at the front of the machine. A screw will hold that in place. You should have two flathead Phillips screws. One will hold the other end of the Wi-Fi antenna down. One will hold down this ribbon assembly with the speaker. Is that what I called it? Now, which way did it go? Did it go up or down? I feel like it went down, but I could be 100% wrong. Alright, it does go with the speaker up, not down, but don't get your ribbon cable all twisted. You have to figure out how it lays down. Like that. And possibly that's in the wrong way. I'm going to set this piece in and then orientate the cable to it, which would be the blue tab toward this way, the blue tab toward the end. Let's see if that has a piece on it to grab it. Looks like it. Yeah, but it's not loose, so we need to push that in carefully. There it's in. Alright, that lets our cable set in. We'll have a screw go here and one go there to hold those in. That's our two metal ones. Yeah, or no, what is the PS4 that has the, it's like the black with orange, like Call of Duty or something or other, color scheme on it. That's the last model I remember tearing apart. It has the split in the middle. Is that the Pro? That's the last one I did. It resembled nothing like this. Let's look it up real quick. See if I'm crazy or not crazy. Nope, this is definitely it. So let's flip over to the LCD and show you this here. 1 terabyte console, Call of Duty Black Ops. Just pull up the picture. I didn't have this controller here, but I did have that very console here to tear apart. Yeah, that's what it looked like. So pop up again. That, and it splits right down this line here on the one part, and then either top or bottom pulls up. Really, really weird. So I saw your comment, Eli. Yes, this is yours. It looked, if you didn't hear the whole stream, you'll have to wind it back and watch it. I was saying about how it looked like high C was spilled in it, and we had a smokers convention in here today where yeah, I mean, we must have smoked about 20 cartons of cigarettes and pumped it right through this thing with it on. But, you know, America, right? First world problems. What to do? Alright, as we're winding down here, this is the easy stuff here. The last little bits of putting this together, we virtually have all the screws marked out. We have a few metal, like of the silver ones that thread into metal to go here. One here, one here. I think, unless I wound that into the wrong spot. Let me check. And no, that's definitely one of the fine, not the coarse thread, the fine threaded flat Phillips. And we'll put another one in right beside it. I don't know if you can see them, probably not. But I do have a silver paint marker. I have a white one too somewhere, but I don't know where it is. But I marked all the silver screws with a silver paint marker, and then the silver ones that were machine thread got silver circle with the little black line. I know, unprofessional marking up a machine, but it is a well used, very well used, tried and true method. And then we will have two more up front here that hold the hard drive cage in place. If I didn't lock the focus, that should be trying to focus. Yes, it definitely will. Okay. Rubber piece for spinning. Screwdriver just fell off. We put it back. One there, and then another one on the end. So 1, 2. We'll show the locations. Let me put this in so I don't drop it. When you drop screws like these, even if it's on a hard floor, they tend to disappear. You drop them and they just fall right through some little small rip in space-time and disappear. They're near impossible to pick up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations I found for the silver flathead Phillips fine thread screws. And then we have Kitty hanging out, holding down the rest of the screws. All of our black fine thread and silver coarse thread screws. So let's wind these into place. All the silver ones go in the silver spots into plastic standoffs, just like the bottom side. And all of the black are the machine thread ones. They will go into metal. Is there a marker there? No, there's not. Nothing goes there. That's a fake out screw hole. There's no mark on it. So, we'll pound a nail in there. Just not entirely sure. We forgot to mark it, so we got to use a nail on that one. Where be ye? Where be ye? The last of the silver. We still have, what, 3 more silver ones to go in? So there's 1. And trace. This got somewhat cleaned up. Smoke residue out of it, and what looked to be like high C. Like I said, it didn't come off brown. It came off orange like soda. It was sticky like soda. It could have been flux, but I'm not saying orange flux doesn't exist, and I'm not saying it does. I really don't know. We still got anybody out there in the chat? You weirdos. What are you doing? Stalkers. Creepers. Make sure I hit the right button. I'm going to stop the whole stream. We're not even back together yet. Alright, we'll do this off of camera. We're going to clean out. Here, let's get in there and take a little look, a little see at that. That's built up around the fan area of the PS4. So let's brush that out and do that quickly. And this is by the fan where the black frame, where the snap-on cover meets the rest of the frame. And this is not our bottom, this is our top. So we'll go ahead and put this one on first. We need to get the correct orientation. So when you look at these, you can kind of see, you'll know where it comes from if you tear it apart, but you can kind of see that slanted look to the machine, how the angles are. This does come up straight, but you can see the bottom angle here goes that way, and then the top part back here, the angle's going that way. So this will actually come on here, and then it snaps on the back. I don't know, maybe you can put the back on and then let the front fall in, or the front in and have the back fall on. Trusty black mat. I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't like it one bit. Yep, okay. So put the back in first. Slide the whole console upside down into the back part of the top cover, and then snap the front into place. Don't forget the sides. Not brand new by any means, but cleaner than started, so hopefully there's a little longer life to it. And then we have one other screw, if we can locate it. We have the hard drive to thread back in this thing, the screw that mounts it in, and then we should have one metal black Torx screw. We've got to locate that. Oh, yeah, I didn't throw it out on the camera. I believe it's over here. And then the sticker, and then the door. This is our bottom piece. Okay, so when looking at the console, I want to find the front. Our buttons are there, they're in place. One thing to check that everything's in place here with your buttons, and then that speaker assembly, I think, is what that is, speaker, and then you have your power button and reset. Find that part of the console, and then you know your buttons will go to it. Make sure they're in and haven't popped out. You can get that piece started on. Literally slides up over, and then you're going to snap all that back into place. We have a screw to put in there, which is the black Torx. The very first one you took out. Oh, second, I guess. You got to count the hard drive. The hard drive one, I guess, would be first. Go ahead and put this one back in. Hard drive upside down in the tray. If you took it out, then you should know it's going to go back in. You will have the spot where there's a screw hole, has to line up there. Press it in, get your screw hole. It is the big fat Phillips. So let's swap out our bit for the last time. And actually, did I? No. Hold on a minute. Losing my mind. No. You have a door, and it's just kind of a snap-in-place door. And then I think your warranty void sticker, which at some point became illegal to put these onto electronics, so I think some manufacturers have had to stop doing it. Put that back on there. It's not perfect, but it's back on. And that's that. Should we test this thing? Should we test this thing? Owner, are you out there in the chat still? Hanging out somewhere? He may be, he may not be. If he is still out there, your name's about to appear on screen. You're gonna blow up your spot. Put your whole address in here, phone number, shoe size, everything that Flat Earth Santa brought you this year for Christmas. It's true. Alright, we have the power. We have the HDMI cable. And that did not unplug my camera as far as I know. Unless I hit the buttons to end the stream, then that'll really unplug it. Let's go for the power. We will plug this thing in. Let's get our controller. And attempt to turn it on and go to the repair screen. And see if